Welcome back, Shalloners, and welcome harmonizers and Camilizers. I decided that Camila Cabello's fans should be called chameleonaires. Go with it. Trust me, I'm better at this. Because today, I want to kind of continue a theme we've been talking about for a few weeks, which is friendship. Now, for a lot of you guys, it's summer break. And even if it's not, I always think of the summer as kind of a time to reset. Like whenever the seasons change, I feel like I too must change and like shed the person that I was a few months ago. And certainly if you're still in school, high school or college or anything like that, the summer is like a time of reflection. A lot of us want to like transform, reinvent ourselves before the new school year. And a huge part of that is often reevaluating our friendships. And a lot of you guys have messaged me and been like, I feel like I've outgrown these friendships, or I kind of want to move into a new phase of my life, whether that's like, I want to be more popular, or it's my friends go out and get wasted every night and like, I kind of want to settle down and do something different. So today we're going to talk about how to leave behind friends who maybe you've outgrown. And of course, we're going to tie this into Camila and Fifth Harmony because damn, there's some lessons to learn there. But before we get started, just want to remind you guys that if you have a love question of your own or a friendship question or any other kind of question and want to chat with me privately, one-on-one, directly, find me on the Instant Go app. My username is ShallonXO and click chat to get connected right away. Also follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO and listen to my brand new podcast, Girl on Top, where I answer the best questions you guys have submitted to me over the course of the week, all anonymously. So Camila and Fifth Harmony, right? Oh man. I actually interviewed them during one of their last performances. It was at Jingle Ball in like 2016, and it was here in New York. And I remember thinking, this band is not going to last. I walked into the room, like there's a little green room and everything, and Camila just stood out. So my photographer was with me, and she's like, this sounds bad. She's like, she's the only one of them who looks like a pop star. Because the other girls, it's like, Camila just has this X factor. Her talking points were down. She had the funny thing to say. She knew exactly what to say. She had the sound bites. The other girls were like cool and real, but there was that lack of sort of just X factor, which is ironic because that's the show they came up on. Camila has it. And they have it, but not the way she does, not in like the same amounts. Also, I have to say their outfits were so incredibly bizarre. And I've noticed this is like a trend with the rest of them is like, do you ever go into like a cheap store like Charlotte Russe or something, and you can tell that the people working there have to wear the clothes that the store sells, and they like do not give a fuck, and they just put on like anything, and then you're like, what are you, girl, what is this, a ribbed turtleneck under a pink satin strapless clearance rack prom dress? What is this? That's how they looked. Just trendy for the sake of being trendy, not flattering. Like, they have cute figures, but it's like they just were wearing the trendiest possible thing they could find, and it did not look good. I'm like, ladies. No, it just felt like Camila had a very strong individual identity, and maybe that wasn't present in the rest of the group. I could be misreading this, but I remember thinking that so distinctly at the time and being like, she's the Beyonce here. She's going to break out. And I remember thinking, I hope it goes smoothly. And it did not. If you guys don't know, so Camila left the group and Fifth Harmony put out a statement. Their statement should have said, we wish you the best, girl, go slay the world, blah, 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 that whole thing. It did not say that. It basically said we were blindsided and we heard through her representatives that she was leaving the band. It was very like sour grapes. Camila came back and she's like, essentially like, you didn't hear this from, basically this was all complete baloney. Like, we've talked about this so many times. I've been so upfront with you guys. I've never like shied away from my aim to be a solo artist. Why are you acting like I just like dumped you out of nowhere? And that is kind of like something we find with our own friendships too, right? Because that's what we do here on this channel. We take a celebrity situation or dynamic, we analyze it, we get a little tea, and then we dig for what we can take into our own lives. And the reason, like, I've always remembered the Fifth Harmony interaction because I was like, you know what? I've been the Camila. I've been in that situation where I feel like I've sort of outgrown the social circle I was in and I needed to move on. I remember in high school, I made a very distinct decision between freshman and sophomore year summer. I'm going to be popular. You can say that's douchey. You can say it's shallow. Cool, maybe I'm both of those things. But I had a goal and I set it and I got it. I won it, I got it. And part of me ascending to a different place in high school socially was realizing that I was going to have to separate from people who I was currently with. Not everyone. And I think this is the fallacy when we realize we want something different from our social interaction, is that it has to be a one or the other thing. But it's not like being in Fifth Harmony where you're either in the group or you're not. And for a long time, Camila tried to make everyone happy. She was doing her solo project. She did stuff with Shawn Mendes, Machine Gun Kelly, but there came a point when it's like she was going to have to choose. But real life isn't necessarily like that. We can still have friendships and move into a different phase of our life. And the people who I'm still friends with from back in the day, from before I decided to become popular, they're still my best friends. They're still I still know them and love them. Why? Because there was an elasticity in our relationship. I had like two best friends, Diane and Miriam. Diane, I talk about her in my videos. She's still one of my best friends. Like, she has the passwords to my phone. That is how I'm like, if I die, you have to go into my phone and like post on Instagram that I'm dead. So, so that's how much I trust her. My other friend, Miriam, we don't speak anymore because she was the one who's like, no, you can't just go make other friends. No, you're shallow for doing this. Diane was like, you do you, boo, go slay the world. She was one way, Miriam was Fifth Harmony. And Diane recognized that there's room enough for everyone. There's enough seats at the friendship table for her, for me, for my new popular friends, for the friends she was going to go make. She also had that desire to branch and grow. And we stayed friends because we talked about it. Miriam wouldn't hear of it. She wouldn't hear it. She's like, you're stupid, you're shallow, this is ridiculous. No, why would you want to hang out with those people? They're everything we hate. And I'm like, you don't even know the popular crew. And like, I don't hate them. Why? They're nice. And if they're not nice, I won't be friends with them. Like, I'm not just like sucking up to these people just to be like the Gretchen Wieners. Like, I genuinely like these people and they do fun things. They do the things I want to do. And I'm in high school and social needs are very important to me. So if you're thinking of like moving into a different phase, whether that's trying to become popular or like now it sort of like at my point in life, it's the opposite. It's like people are settling down. They're getting married. They're having kids. So there's like a shift away from like the buzzy group. There's a shift into a more homebody lifestyle. And all people need is to know what the deal is. People are actually pretty elastic for the most part, but not if you keep them in the dark about what's going on. And when I was about 25, like there was a big split. Like, and I know a lot of you guys are experiencing this if you're out of school, where it's like some people are getting married, some people are still going to bottomless brunch and like getting wasted on a Sunday. And it feels like a very big split. And so if you're somewhere in the middle, you don't want to get wasted every night, but you don't want to like move to the suburbs. It can be hard to like know where you fall in terms of your socialization. And it might make you think you have to pick, and you don't. All you have to do is communicate effectively with people who are in your life. If you have those suburban married pals, be like, hey, like, I just want you to know that just because you're like settling down and moving out to the burbs, like I still love you. I still want to be friends. So like, let's set dates to do something that's not boozy brunch. Let's go get manicures every Friday. Let's find that common ground in our friendship and still hold on to each other as we both move in different directions. Tap into that elasticity. And you know what? Some people are going to be cool with that and some people aren't. I've lost a lot of friends to like the marriage monster. And it's like, you were probably never really my friend anyway, As I said in other videos, some people are here for a reason, and if they're not here for a reason, you're here for a season. And I realized I was like a season for them. I was like fun party Shallon, but they were always sort of like looking past me, looking over my shoulder for their husband and their kids and the suburbs and like, okay, goodbye. You're a city friend. Like, I don't need a reminder of those wild and woolly days. Like, I've moved on. Okay, honestly, goodbye. Don't let the door hit you. I don't need someone who isn't really there for me and who doesn't want to connect on a deeper level. And so if your friends are sort of like holding you back, like my friend Miriam was, that is another interpretation of that, I think, fake friendship, Because a real friend would be like, hey, I want you to express yourself. I want you to grow. Because a real friend would be confident in your bond and be like, again, it's fine. There's enough seats at the table. We can all be in this friendship game together, like Diane was. But maybe that's it. Maybe they aren't sure of your bond. So if you're like, I'm kind of moving into a different direction, sit them down and say exactly that. That's what Camila did with Fifth Harmony. She's like, I was never duplicitous about where I wanted my career to go. I was always very transparent and very upfront with them that like, I want to be a solo artist. You know, I don't want to do this band forever. Very few girl groups like last forever. You know, it's a lot of estrogen. It's a lot of personalities. And like, yeah, there's probably going to be a Beyonce. Maybe there's even going to be two Beyoncés. There's going to be some Michelles. Oh, poor Michelle. Michelle's killing it though on the gospel scene. She's fucking crushing it. So I love her. But sit your friend down and be like, I just want you to know that like me hanging out with this new crew or like doing my like mom wife book club thing on the weekends, that doesn't mean that I don't think you and I have like our friendship has run its course. It's just something like else in my personality that I'm tapping into and exploring. And I want you to do the same, you know, and I'm still going to make time for you. And I don't want you to think that I'm like leaving you behind. Engage their reaction. They're either going to be a Diane or they're going to be a Miriam. And if they try to box you in, again, I don't think that's true friendship. Real friends allow you to grow because real friends know that you have something real and that, yeah, you can go out and meet 10 other people. I'm not going to be replaced. And if I am, then you're the fake friend. You know, that's okay. Be done with it. But also, it can be tempting when we're like getting into a new phase. Just like I was saying about summer, I need to shed who I was. I need to get out. I need to like just throw away all my winter clothes. I need to burn all my scars. I'm never going to be back. I mean, it's never going to be winter. It's not, no. It's tempting to do that with our social situation too. We get married. It's like, I'm cutting off all my boozy friends. Meh. Or vice versa. I just got out of a relationship. I don't want to hang out with any of my stupid friends who are all coupled up and they just want to like make pasta and drink a good red wine. I want to go out and like dance and drink and hook up and whatever. It can be tempting to do that all or nothing thing. It's a lot easier to burn down a house than it is to clean it. But one of those things has way worse consequences. You know what I mean? So if you feel that temptation to just like cut everyone out, sit with yourself and be like, why? What about that past, that version of me is so icky to me that I have to try to burn it down? Like when I decided to become popular, I was like dressing better. My posture was different. I was doing my hair. I was more outgoing. I was running for student office and stuff like that. And I was like cringing thinking about like who I was in middle school until my mom was like, you were awesome in middle school. You were awesome in ninth grade. You're awesome now. Like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You can evolve, but evolution, personal development means you have to keep remembering the past. You know, you build on that. You layer on top of everything you've learned and everything that you are. You don't erase it and start completely from scratch. That's not realistic and it's not healthy. And it's like, it's not even like viable. You can't even really do that, you know? So remember your past and accept that there's wonderful parts of it. Okay, you've changed, but the reason you've changed is because you've experienced those things, right? The reason you're growing is probably because you had friends who have like helped you see a different side of you, been accepting about your dreams and where you want to go. Things are changing. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you're like, I don't really want to watch Kelsey barf. And again, I don't want to hold her hair back and make sure she gets into an Uber and have to go home when she does because she's wasted. You can learn from that as well. And sometimes it's good to keep people even like that in your life to keep on learning from them and to serve as an inspiration for them. You know, I really try to keep as many people in my life as possible. If I consider you a friend, I'm an only child. That means something to me. I cast people out when it's like, when they're not enriching my life anymore. And if they're not enriching mine, I'm probably not enriching theirs. You know what I mean? So that's okay. It's all good. It's all love. Release you with love. You're on one path. I'm on the other. And maybe one day the paths come back together. Like Diane and I actually lost touch through college, like because we were just on different paths. We were on different coasts. We were doing completely different things. And then we both found ourselves back in New York. And it was like, It was like nothing changed. It was like 8th grade all over again. We're BFFs. And like, that's how it should be, you know, because we gave each other the freedom and the space to grow. Miriam and I don't talk because she would not permit me that, you know? And it's funny because she like became a lesbian. I don't think she's really a lesbian, but that's a whole other story. I've known her since kindergarten. Okay. And it's like, I didn't have the chance to be there and be elastic for her because she was inelastic with me. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's ironic that someone who made such a huge life shift, was like so intolerant of my relatively minor shift when I was 15. Like, so understand that's significant. Maybe at the time, maybe she was a lesbian. I don't know. I was a child. How the hell do I know? So let's say she was. Maybe she was resentful that she wasn't able to live her truth, you know, and make a big shift. So she didn't want anyone else making a shift either. So if you have friends who are moving on into different phases and you're the Miriam a little bit, sit back and be like, what is it? Why does this gas me up so much? What is this like poke at? And maybe I can reframe this and be like, hey, I feel like jealous and envious and all types of ways about you moving into this other phase. And I want that to be a positive thing though. I want to reframe that into something good. Tell me how you're doing this. Let me be with you on this journey. Inspire me, bring me along, you know, things of that nature. Don't just sit on it and let it fester. And vice versa. If you think a friend is marrying you, you could be like, why does this hurt you so bad? You know, what does this symbolize to you? Because this feels like a disproportionate response and it feels like an unhealthy response. And I don't want us to like torpedo our friendship over this, but you have to get in touch with like the subtext of this. This is a topic, but there's an issue below that topic that you got to tap into. And maybe they will and maybe they won't. You know, all we can do psychologically is lead a horse to water, you know? And a lot of people really don't like being like psychoanalyzed. I like it. I mean, I like to be diagnosed by a doctor. I like it when people say, hey, this is what's wrong. Be aware of it, because what do I always say? You can't change what you don't acknowledge. And some people they just don't feel like that. It's like, okay, that's fine. They'd rather point fingers. They'd rather box you in and thereby box themselves in, or live that seeming truth of theirs that they don't have the power to branch out, that they don't have this kind of agency. They do. But you know what? That sucks for them. It's not your job to woke the world. It's my job. So figure out what phase you're moving into, why, who you can take along in this phase, who maybe has done the season, and now there's other people who need to be here for a different reason. If you guys have more questions on the subject, find me on the Instant Go app. My username is ShallonXO, and click check to get connected. And follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO, and listen to my new podcast, Girl on Top, every place podcasts are found. And tell me the tea you know, harmonizers, and what you think of that split. Do you think one person was right and the other ones were wrong, vice versa? I really want to know your thoughts, because we